On the news, NLC and TUC issue 14-day ultimatum to federal government over non-implementation of agreements. 12 new rep members take oath of office and allegiance. And reps to probe successive administrations over PPP agreements. Thank you for joining us on News Now. I am Simisola Atiku. The House of Representatives has revealed plans to investigate various public-private partnership PPP programs and concession agreements approved by successive administrations. The resolution was passed sequel to the adoption of a motion sponsored by member representing Bida Gbako Kacha Federal Constituency Saidu Abdullahi on the floor of the Green Chamber during Wednesday's plenary. Abdullahi expressed concern over the dwindling economic fortune of the country despite huge investments made into the concessioned public assets. More details in this report. The House says it is aware that the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, ICRC, charged with the responsibility of formulating policies, discussions, agreements, and concession programs, has initiated several public-private partnerships, some of which are still in process, while others have not yielded positive results. In his lead debate, Honorable Abdullahi lamented the persistent dwindling revenues accruing to the Federation account and the enormous deficits in infrastructural development, with attendant consequences on budget implementation and the economy.
Also aware that many investors participated in or indicated interest in most of the programs, while some secure provisional fundings but cannot commence due to insufficient coordination between agencies and ICRC management in actualizing, concluding, and executing the agreement. The House therefore resolves to set up an ad hoc committee to investigate and assess the performance of public-private partnership programs and concession agreements.
On the issues of alleged certificate racketeering by Nigerian students in collusion with some officials of government ministries, departments and agencies, MTAs, the House has resolved to probe findings by undercover reporter Umar Awudu of the booming business in Benin Republic.
Concerned that over the years, foreign institutions have graduated Nigerians in different fields of human endeavor. House resolves 1. To condemn in its entirety the act of certificate racketeering by Nigerian students in collusion with some officials from ministries, departments, and agencies in Nigeria. B. 2. Mandate the Committee on University Education to A. Investigate the matter and identify both foreign and indigenous institutions involved in certificate racketeering in Nigeria. B. Identify officials of ministries, departments, and agencies and other persons involved.
The House has also unveiled plans to investigate the activities of the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, over the non-release of national identity cards from 2012 to date.
Government intervention in restructuring the Commission is necessary for effective service delivery, revitalizing the Commission operation, and reaffirming the goal to provide accurate data and identification document to the citizens, thus restoring the confidence of the Nigerian populace.
Worried by the decision of the National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, to ban production of alcoholic beverages in small sachets and bottles, House members say it runs counter to the spirit and letter of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, and runs against the economic recovery plan of the current administration.
Given the numerous economic challenges confronting poor Nigerians, the ban on the production of the said beverages will cause more havoc and cause job losses to over 50% of workers in Nigeria. Aware of the need to encourage the sustainability of small and medium enterprises, SMEs, which are the greatest employer of labor in Nigeria, employing over 84% of workforce in Nigeria. NAFDAC policy to place a ban on the production of beverages in small sachets and bottles will be counterproductive.
For consideration of reports, the House leadership was asked to consider the reports of the committees on police affairs and customs and excise on the issue from the Statutory Revenue Fund of the Nigeria Police Trust Fund and Nigeria Customs and Excise to the total sum of 57 billion naira and 706 billion naira, respectively. Simisola Adigun, TV 360 News. 12 new members representing various federal constituencies have taken their oaths of office and allegiance following their victories in last Saturday's parliamentary rerun elections. Although a total of 15 candidates were victorious at the polls, 12 winners were on the floor of the House for their swearing-in at the session presided over by the Speaker of the House, Abbas Tajuddin. The new members were a mix of party affiliations, with 7 from the All Progressives Congress (APC), 5 from the People's Democratic Party (PDP), 3 from the Young Progressives Party, and 1 from the Labour Party. Meanwhile, the other 3 members who have collected their certificates of return from INEC will be inaugurated at a later date. Amid the declining economy and protests by citizens over the high cost of living, the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) and the Trade Union Congress (TUC) have issued a 14-day ultimatum to the federal government over the non-implementation of the 16-point agreement both parties reached after the removal of the petrol subsidy. In a statement signed by the leaders of the 2 labor unions, Joe Ajaero and Festus Usifo, on Thursday, the organized labor expressed sadness that despite the passage of time, the majority of these crucial agreements remain unmet or negligibly addressed, indicating a blatant disregard for the principles of good faith, welfare and rights of Nigerian workers and Nigerians. The organized labor say that it is giving the federal government 14 days starting from tomorrow, February 9 to February 14, 2024 to fulfill its part of the understanding with the labor unions. The Federal High Court in Lagos has ordered the federal government to fix the prices of goods and petroleum products within 7 days. The judge gave the order on Wednesday while delivering judgment in a suit filed by human rights activist Femi Falana against the Price Control Board and the Attorney General of the Federation, listed as the first and second defendants. Justice Ambrose Louis Alagwa specifically ordered the government to fix the price of milk, flour, salt, sugar, bicycles and their spare parts, matches, motorcycles and their spare parts, motor vehicles and their spare parts, as well as petroleum products, which include diesel, premium motor spirit and kerosene. He added that the Act gives the Price Control Board powers to fix the prices of this wide array of commodities. Well, let's discuss this further with economist Mukhtar Mohammed. Thank you for your time, Mr. Mohammed. Now, this ruling by the court enforcing, or rather asking the federal government to fix prices of certain goods in the market, can this ruling from the federal government be enforced?
Well, we have a price control board, so but if the ruling will be enforced, I doubt. Because you're talking about capitalism, you're talking about liberalization, you're talking about deregulation of the downstream sector. So how would the government begin to fix the price of petroleum product? You know, that's one thing the government has said they are not going back to. And the first thing the president did was to remove subsidies. So it's part of saying, oh, you want us to begin to fix the price of gas, the price of PMS, the price of every other diesel and others. So I don't think we sometimes when we go to the court, we just get decisions that are hard to, very difficult to implement. So I'm not excited because the federal government have not even responded. Rather, they responded with the fact that they are going to open a strategic reserve to get more food to ordinary Nigerians. And I keep asking if what is in that reserve. Really, do we really have a reserve? So we just wait and see what is going to happen. I think the thing that I expected the court to have done, which could be something that is workable, is to say federal government should suspend tariff in some of the goods that are house-made goods that are coming into the country, that those goods should not be paying tariff until further notice. I think that is more workable than saying, oh, federal government also have to fix price. I don't think that will work.
All right, now, so in the event that this ruling is not obeyed by the federal government, can further action be taken?
Well, it's up to the to Femi Falana, since he was the one that took the government to court, to proceed to Court of Appeal, and if he's not satisfied, to go to Supreme Court. For me, that's the only option. He will want to follow it up. There's nothing anybody can do. It's in the court of law.
All right, quite brief. Economist Mukhtar Mohammed, thank you very much for speaking to us.
My pleasure.
Moving on, in view of the security situation and economic hardship in the country, the House of Representatives has mandated the Committees on Education Examination Board and Basic Education to interface with the National Examination Council on its planned 2024 promotion examination for about 1,500 staff at Mina, Niger State on February 14 and 15, 2024. The resolution of the House followed the adoption of a motion on a matter of urgent public importance sponsored by Akim Adeyemi, a member of the All Progressives Congress, APC. Leading the debate on the motion, the lawmaker says it's unsafe for 1,500 staff to travel from different parts of the country to one location to write a promotion examination when the examination body has the capacity to conduct the examinations for her staff in different states of the Federation.
NECO, by a circular dated 17 January 2024, published the names of about 1,500 staff to partake in the said 2024 promotion examination on the 14th and 15th February 2024 at Federal University of Technology, FUT Mina. Aware that in the past, the examination body has conducted similar promotion examination for our staff.
Order, please.
At various zonal and regional offices, without necessarily making large number of staff from different states of the Federation to travel and converge at one place for the promotion examination. Mr. Speaker and the House, we are concerned that due to the security situation in the country and the economic hardship biting out of the citizen, including the staff of National Examination Council, NECO, it is perilous to cause about 1,500 staff to travel from different parts of the country to one place in the name of promotional examination. Mr. Speaker, believe that the examination body which conducts examination for candidates all over the country has the capacity to conduct promotion examination for our staff at different states of the Federation. The House do resolve that we mandate the Committees on Education, Examination Board and Basic Education to interact with the National Examination Council, NECO, on our plan 2024 promotion examination for about 1,500 staff at place vis-a-vis the security and economic situation of the country. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Meanwhile, the Defense Headquarters, DHQ, has attributed the security challenges facing the country in general to an obvious sense of disunity, which has hampered the nation's development and stability. Director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, who revealed this in Abuja at a bi-weekly media briefing to review ongoing military operations across the country, says it's time Nigerians form a united force to achieve a common cause of destroying camps of violence in the country. On the activities of Nigerian troops for the month of January 2024, he says the military and other security agencies made an appreciable impact, culminating in an estimated sum of 2,821,503,962 naira only from oil theft.
In the month of January, troops recorded the following. We neutralized 266 terrorists. We arrested 463 of them, and we rescued 116 kidnapped hostages. We also recovered 447 assorted weapons and over 6,690 assorted ammunition. We denied the oil theft of close to 3 billion naira just in the month of January. When we talk about counterinsurgency, one thing should come to mind. Like I said, though it might not seem as such, but a lot is ongoing and a lot is being done.
Meanwhile, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, retired Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, has tasked zonal commanders, state commanders and area commanders of the agency to go all out and smoke out drug barons still in hiding, as well as dismantle their cartels as part of ongoing efforts to totally cut off drug supply to elements involved in criminalities across the country. Mara gave the charge in his meeting with directors and all commanding officers of the agency at its national headquarters in Abuja, where he commended them for the unprecedented successes achieved so far and tasked them not to rest on their oars. He said no effort must be spared to remove illicit drug equation from the security challenges facing the country.
We are ourselves part and parcel of the solution to the insecurity, because if you cut the access and availability of drugs to the criminals, you will effectively tamper with their nefarious activities. And so we are going to plead for increased funding to do more things in support of the fight against insecurity, and I trust that the President will give us a listening ear, because he's very interested in the progress of the NDLEA. This year we want to raise the bar of our performance, and that calls for having commanders who are up to the task, who are up and doing.
We'll take a break here, but coming up, reps move to enforce CBN's policies on holding excess forex by banks. Stay with us for details. Welcome back. Here's a recap of our top stories. The Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) and the Trade Union Congress (TUC) have issued a 14-day ultimatum to the federal government over the non-implementation of the 6-point agreement both parties reached after the removal of the petrol subsidy. In a statement signed by both leaders of the two labor unions, George Aero and Festus Osifo, on Thursday, the organized labor expressed sadness that despite the passage of time, the majority of these crucial agreements remain unmet or negligibly addressed, indicating a blatant disregard for the principles of good faith, welfare and rights of Nigerian workers and Nigerians. The organized labor said it is giving the federal government 14 days starting from Friday, February 9 to February 14, 2024 to fulfill its part of the understanding with the labor unions. We also told you that 12 new members representing various federal constituencies have taken their oath of office and allegiance following their victories in last Saturday's parliamentary rerun elections. The new members were a mix of party affiliations, with 7 from the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC), 5 from the People's Democratic Party (PDP), 3 from the Young Progressives Party and 1 from the Labour Party. Meanwhile, the other 3 members who have collected their certificate of return from INEC will be inaugurated at a later date. Now, in case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. Welcome back. Let's now join Tamilore Akinkolie for business news. What's the latest, Tamilore?
Thank you, Semisola. Well, the House of Representatives has instructed its committees on banking regulations and banking institutions to carry out an investigative hearing regarding the non-compliance of commercial banks and financial institutions with the directive of the Central Bank of Nigeria on the net open position limit, NOP. The representative of Ikorodu Federal Constituency, Babajimi Benson, who introduced the motion, highlighted that the CBN is entrusted with regulating the country's monetary policies as stipulated by the CBN Act. He emphasized that within the scope of its duties, the CBN is authorized to formulate regulations and issue a directive for commercial banks and specific financial institutions to implement.
I rise to create the indulgence of this House to request for two things. One, to move a motion of matter of urgent national importance on the need for banks to implement CBN's policies on holding excess long foreign exchange and net open position limits. Mr. Speaker, I crave the indulgence of this House to pray that this motion be deemed as urgent under Order 8 Rule 5, to move it as urgent and to suspend our relevant rules. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it.
We'll go on a short break here and be back with stock market reports. Nigeria's stock market took a dip of 0.86% on Thursday as investors started to rotate funds in search of higher yields on treasury bills. Listed stock value dropped by about 481 billion naira at the close of trading on the Nigerian exchange market. The Central Bank of Nigeria recorded 1.8 trillion worth of treasury bills at an auction on Wednesday, nearly 2 times the 1 trillion on offer, and also the highest amount to cash raised through treasury bills in a single option since the CBN started tracking data. Now, stocks that led the decliners league include National Salt Company, which closed at 58 naira 50 kobo, followed by Sterling Bank, which closed at 5 naira 31 kobo. Now, for our market summary, today's data shows 40% improvement in volumes, 12% improvement in turnover, and 13% improvement in deals. It's also a similar story for UK FTSE and US Dow Jones, as they also felt the yields, closing in a bearish note at 0.45% and 0.33%, leaving only Japan's Nikkei in a bullish trend at 2.06%. And that's all on business and stock market news. Over to you, Simi, for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Tamilore. On the foreign scene, Russia's election commission has blocked pro-peace politician Boris Nadezhdin from next month's presidential election, ending his surprise bid to oust President Vladimir Putin from the Kremlin. Putin, who has been in power for more than 2 decades, is set to secure another 6-year term in the March 15 to 17 contest, from which all major opposition politicians have now been barred. Only 3 other candidates, all from ceremonial opposition parties that are backed by the Kremlin, will take place. At a Moscow hearing on Thursday, Russia's Central Election Commission says it had ruled to refuse to register Boris Nadezhdin as a candidate in the presidential election. Meanwhile, Nadezhdin has rejected the widely expected decision and pledged to go to Russia's Supreme Court. And on sports, it will be Nigeria versus Cote d'Ivoire in the finals of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations, AFCON. The Super Eagles booked their place for the final after beating South Africa's Bafana Bafana 4-2 on penalties. The Elephants of Cote d'Ivoire, at their part, defeated the Democratic Republic of Congo by a lone goal to book their spot in the final. Our correspondent, Sydney Okafor, has more on this story.
After 120 minutes of pulsating football, and a 1-1 draw. The Super Eagles of Nigeria and Bafana Bafana of South Africa had to settle for a penalty shootout to decide who will go through to the final. And it was Nigeria that eventually came out tops, beating South Africa by 4-2 in the shootout. Stanley Nwabali, the Super Eagles goalkeeper, stole the show by saving 2 penalty kicks from Bafana Bafana before Leicester City striker Kelechi Iheanacho converted the game-winning penalty kick. Although Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire had previously faced off in the competition group stage, with the Super Eagles defeating the hosts 1-0, some Super Eagles fans believe the outcome won't be different in the final.
When you have 11 players from Mamelodi Sundowns who have played together, you understand, they understand themselves, and 7 of them are in a certain lineup. So what should we expect? These are like playing against a team that have been together almost forever. So I was not surprised the way the South Africans were all over the place. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you play, it's who wins. That's what people remember first. It doesn't matter ball possession and all and what have you, but the final result, the end result is what people are interested in. And that's what Super Eagles were able to do last night. So against the Elephants, of course, they are beating them once. They will come, said they don't want Thunder to strike twice. But I know that the Thunder is going to strike even more than twice on Sunday against the Elephants.
Perhaps one of the best football at this AFCON, one of the most solidly defensive side in this competition, considered only 2 goals from the group stage to the final. It's very obvious that this team is one of the heavyweights in the competition. And when you look at both sides, side to side, Nigeria and Ivory Coast, the hosts, you have to agree with me that Ivory Coast have not really been up there in terms of their play in this competition. So it's pretty much expected that the favourite for this final actually go on to win the final.
Cote d'Ivoire will be counting on massive home advantage to beat the Super Eagles, but some Nigerians fans still think that won't matter.
Statistically, you know that Nigeria at a point in 1992 or thereabouts, 1994, you've also checked 2013, and you always see that there's a bit of time they beat Cote d'Ivoire and ended up winning that. So that luck factor is what I'm going to pitch on now. So I believe that if they have in time past where they have championed, beating Cote d'Ivoire along the line and ended up winning the trophy, I believe that factor can still play for them this time around.
Most of our players are professionals. They play, in big leagues across Europe. So they must have played in, these players have played in big stadiums in Europe before, in front of their opponents' fans and all of that. So I don't think that should be an issue for them. They are not young players that are just playing professional football for the first time.
Hopes are that Nigeria could be set to lift its 4th AFCON title, but some continue to caution that the Super Eagles must improve on their effective conversion of their chances and be more decisive in the 18-yard box. Sydney Okafor, TV360, Lagos.
Well, that's all on our bulletin. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.